Hey there, friends. Some of you may be aware of this. Some of you may have not heard of this at all. But last weekend, the Appalachian Mountains were hit again with heavy floods, Southwest Virginia, Kentucky. And this is similar destruction to what we saw in Helene. It may not be as widespread, but it is a pretty large area of flooding. People ask me all the time, what in the world is going on? We have planes falling out of the sky, planes crashing and rolling over on runways. We have these massive storms, and then we have these fires wiping out entire cities. And then they want to rebuild the cities with something other than what the people had there before. I don't have all the answers for you. Unfortunately, when one catastrophe happens and then another one happens just a month or two later, we tend to forget about the people who were impacted in the last one. And in North Carolina and the areas impacted by Helene, we're still rebuilding. We're still fighting back, trying to get our farms back up and operable in those areas. I think that instead of worrying about, what's going to be the next shoe to fall, what's going to be the next catastrophe, what we need to do as Americans is do what we can to rebuild. And I'm saying this after getting some comments. The other week we had taken some chicken tractors up to the mountains. We delivered a chicken tractor to a farm in Tryon, an area that was heavily impacted. And I had a couple comments on that video that were just completely despicable for people to make. Yeah, I don't believe in government charity. I don't believe in the masses. There's a lot of waste. We've seen that. There's a lot of fraud. Clearly, there's a lot of fraud. A lot of that's being uncovered now. I think that you have to support the community that you believe in. And that's what I do. And that's what the people on this channel do. And if you don't like that, you don't belong here. That person also posted a bunch of links to people who I think are just feeding the public with false propaganda. And I don't even know that these people are real farmers. So I don't know who that person was, but take it somewhere else. Another person, though, brought up an interesting point, and I think that this gets into a bigger issue. A lot of comments that I've seen, and it doesn't change. I kind of feel the same way when people build a beach house and the beach house gets washed into the ocean. But I think that the situation that we're seeing here is very different. It's not something that anybody could have ever expected. And it's that way for several reasons. But this person made the comment, stop building your houses in the flood zones and making the rest of us pay for it. First of all, FEMA hasn't done that much. The communities have come together. The communities have come together to help rebuild, and that has done a tremendous amount of what we've seen. Yes, roads have been rebuilt by the government, but as far as rebuilding people's lives, keeping people in those areas, that's coming from people like you and I. So, the thing is about all this is that a lot of these people didn't live in flood zones. A lot of these people didn't live in areas where they ever thought that they would be impacted, and that's no fault of their own. I mean, these aren't normal areas for flood zones. Over time, though, as time progresses, we as people have built large water reservoirs. A lot of times these are just lakes for recreational purposes or other things. And what we've seen, at least this past weekend, is when floodwaters come in and those aren't managed correctly, meaning they didn't let the water out ahead of time, and I'm going to be blunt about this because it happened here in my community during Hurricane Florence. They didn't let the water out when they should have before the storm. They had to let it all out at once. It floods people's homes. It destroys people's lives. A lot of the catastrophes that we have in many ways are man-made by our own negligence, but these aren't necessarily the people with their houses that are 20, 30 feet above a river. These are much larger infrastructure projects that end up bleeding down and destroying people down below. And here's the thing about it, and this part just bothers me. When they come in and the government comes in with their funding and they say they're going to help you rebuild and they're going to help, fix your home or whatever it is that happened to you. What they'll do is they'll offer less money to repair your home. They'll offer you a fraction of what it will actually cost to repair your home. But then they'll also designate where you live to be a new flood zone. It's a new flood zone because we put a lake upstream from you. So now your house is in a flood zone, and if you choose to rebuild with the funds that they give you, you have to bring the whole thing up to code. But what's remarkable about it is they will offer you a full buyout based on the value of your property and your home before you ever got wrecked by the storm. That's a lot more money. So the intent is not to have people rebuild. The intent is to take people's land, to buy it back, and then sell it back to the state. That's what the federal government does. In a lot of cases, they buy the properties back. There have been hundreds of properties in North Carolina where the property owners have opted for this because there's no other financial alternative. And then the federal government sells it back to the state at a discount from what the federal taxpayers paid for it. And now you've got new flood zones, you have new waterways. Maybe it's for the better. I guess if that area is prone to flooding, you don't want to live there anymore. But I do think that a lot of this, in a strange way, is just another form of eminent domain. And it makes me concerned when I hear about this lake being built down in Texas, the one that, they can't even justify the amount of water that they're going to need for it, but they're going to put this lake in there. And what happens when that goes in is that all these properties downstream from that dam are eventually going to end up in the same boat. And then they're going to come in and they're going to say, oh, shucks, you got destroyed. Well, here's the deal. We'll give you some funds to fix up your property if you bring it up to these standards, or we'll just buy it out from you. I mean, these are the realities of the challenges that we are facing today. And I think that what we're going to see in Kentucky, because this isn't the first time these areas have flooded, I think what you're going to start seeing is certain areas where they tell people that they can't rebuild anymore. They can't live there anymore because they're designated, chronic flood zones, even though they hadn't been for 100, 200 years. And I do think that our climate's always changing. It's constantly changing. Climate never stays the same. And I'm sure that there are, different patterns that emerge and cause different types of flooding. But these are all things that I think about. And when I see comments like that, I want to address them. I want to share with you a little bit of what my opinion is on it. And it is just my opinion. It's not the opinion of Meet My Neighbor Productions, our nonprofit. But I wanted to put that into this video just so that you guys get, a little bit of an insight as to what I actually think. Anyway, enjoy today's video. So this morning, I am taking a load of hay to the North Carolina mountains. This is something that we have been doing a lot with our nonprofit. Normally we have semi trucks and larger trucks go, but as time goes by, people can't continue to make those trips. So I'm making a trip on my own. This is about $1,200 worth of horse hay. We've actually delivered about $4,000. It might actually be more. I need to do the math on that. About $4,000 worth of horse hay to horse rescues in the mountains. We've been delivering a lot of round bales that go to farms where there are bison, cows, other things, but horse hay is just a little more expensive. So I'll be running this up to the Laurel Springs area today, and hopefully we'll be able to see this horse rescue. I think the hay is actually going to another farm with heavier equipment for storage. These are the 3x3x8 bales that weigh about 750, 800 pounds each. So there's about 4,500 pounds of hay in my dump trailer today.
Hey, this is Catherine Steele from Ashe County, North Carolina, Musicians Mission of Mercy and Compassionate Commissary Program. And few people know that we also have a veterans work farm, which is a horse rescue. And you might recognize this guy if you ever watch Shanasa TV, because this is Charlie Rankin. So Charlie, look at this hay. What are you doing today? You drove all the way from Goldsboro, right?
Goldston.
Goldston.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is. It's we're just southwest of Raleigh, so not quite as far as Goldsboro, but
Okay.
it's a 3-hour drive.
That's a little different. Apologies. Where did this hay come from? Did this come from your farm?
No, this hay we purchased from a dealer in Bass, North Carolina, through our nonprofit, which is Meet My Neighbor Productions.
Yes.
And we raised a decent amount of funds to help farms that have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. So we get it. We do our best to get as many materials out to everybody as we can. But as time has gone by, as you know, there's not a lot of hay supplies. So even next week, we'll be shipping 70 round bales from the same area of North Carolina because we just can't get them any closer. So it's every trip we do is a couple hundred miles.
Well, I can't thank you enough for making this trip today and bringing this beautiful, beautiful, very large square bales of hay for. We've got 9 horses out there at our place in Laurel Springs. It's Robin Overwater's horses, and we've been partnering with her to make sure they have what they need. And this is a prayer answered, my friend.
Yeah.
So thank you for what a beautiful gift. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We enjoy it. So, I mean, our goal is to help everybody stay on track so that the agricultural community stays strong heading into the spring. So, and it's not just food and food producers, but horses as well. I mean,
Cattle, chickens.
yeah, they all play an important role. So,
Yeah, I'd never heard of a chicken tractor before. You had to explain the chicken tractor.
yeah. Yep, we just delivered one of those. It was a really nice, it was like the Cadillac chicken
Taj
tractors.
Mahal.
Yeah, it was a $4,000 chicken tractor that we just took to try on last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. How do I get in line for one of those? I'm just kidding. It's okay. We're happy with this, my friend. That's funny. But no, chicken tractors, never knew it was a thing. But yeah, those eggs are like gold now, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Got to take care of those laying hens.
Yep.
But we'll check back in with you. We're going to take a quick break. Then I'm going to film the offload.
All right.
Catherine Steele signing off.
So I just dropped off 6 bales for the veterans of the horse rescue riding bridge, I believe is their name, care of Musicians Mission of Mercy. They also, I mean, it's an amazing nonprofit there in West Jefferson, North Carolina. They've done a lot of work with Helene, and just before I arrived today, they had sent several trucks full of water and supplies up into Virginia. Some of you may know, some of you probably don't know, but a levee broke in Virginia, causing a heck of a lot of flooding and damage, killing people as well, and that impacted the Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee, I believe. So they are a great resource. We've had the opportunity to work with them several times over the past several months, and I hope you continue to support their efforts as well as our efforts. Our goal is to try and get, keep animals fed and to get these farms back up and operating. They're just out there to help as many people as they possibly can, and they're doing a great job at it. So, well-organized group.
Since the impact of the storm, Meet My Neighbor Productions volunteers have been in the field,
cleaning up debris, delivering donations, and serving rural communities in any way we can. Now you have a chance to support our efforts.
The community has poured in so much. It's just been unbelievable to see the effort in our community.
Thank you so much for the support and the love and the prayers and all you're doing. And if you've sent support and supplies, this is my heartfelt thank you to all of you. We love you, we needed you, and you showed up. Thank you.
Take action now and click the link below this video.